Before the borders we see on a map today, before nations had their modern flags, Central Europe was a world shaped by families. Their power wasn't won in an election. It was inherited through bloodlines, secured by marriage contracts, and justified by the belief that God Himself had chosen them to rule. This isn't just a story of kings and queens in a straight line. It's a journey through the rise and fall of entire dynasties whose choices sparked wars, shaped religions, and forged the identities of millions. From the misty forests of medieval Bohemia to the grand imperial courts of Vienna, we'll explore how these families ruled, fought for, and ultimately lost a continent. Our journey begins in a world where a family name could decide the fate of nations. Unlike places with clear natural borders, Central Europe was a dense mosaic of territories, kingdoms, duchies, and city-states all packed together. At the heart of this complexity were dynasties like the Přemyslids of Bohemia, the Piasts of Poland, and the Árpáds of Hungary. But towering over them all were the Habsburgs. Their family tree reads less like a genealogy and more like a map of Europe itself. They mastered a unique strategy summarized by a famous saying, "Let others wage war. You, happy Austria, marry." They expanded not just with armies, but with wedding rings, inheriting crowns in lands they had never conquered. But long before the Habsburgs dominated the scene, older dynasties laid the groundwork. In Bohemia, the Přemyslid dynasty rose from a mix of legend and history, with tales of a humble plowman chosen by destiny to become king. While legends helped legitimize their rule, their real achievement was creating a stable Czech state centered on Prague. Under kings like Ottokar II, Bohemia became a major European power, its influence stretching from the Baltic to the Adriatic. But dynastic power was always fragile. It depended on having a male heir. When the line failed, kingdoms became prizes, inviting foreign powers to meddle, a story that would repeat itself across Central Europe for centuries. To the east, in the lands that would become Poland, the Piast dynasty faced similar struggles. Early rulers unified the territory through conquest and converting to Christianity, but their inheritance customs often divided the kingdom among all the sons. This was meant to keep the family happy, but it often weakened the state, leaving it vulnerable to its neighbors. Further south in the Carpathian Basin, the Árpád dynasty founded the Kingdom of Hungary around the year 1000. Led by King Stephen I, who was later canonized as a saint, Hungary became a major regional power. But just like their neighbors, the Árpáds eventually ran out of male heirs, opening the door to internal conflict and foreign claimants. It's a powerful reminder that dynastic rule was never just about blood. It also required recognition from nobles, the church, and rival rulers. Overseeing this entire landscape was the Holy Roman Empire, a strange, decentralized entity that provided the political framework for many of these dynasties. Within it, German families like the Wittelsbachs, Hohenzollerns, and Luxembourgs competed for influence and imperial titles, but none could match the incredible rise of the Habsburgs. They started as minor counts in what is now Switzerland, and transformed themselves into Europe's most powerful royal house. Their success came from mastering the unique politics of Central Europe, where legitimacy often mattered more than brute force. Through a series of brilliant marriages, they acquired Burgundy, Spain, Bohemia, and Hungary, surrounding their Austrian heartlands with a vast collection of inherited territories. By the early modern era, they ruled an empire on which it was said the sun never set. But ruling such a diverse empire brought its own headaches. The Habsburg lands were a patchwork of different cultures, languages, and laws. Holding it all together required constant negotiation and compromise. Then, in the 16th century, the Protestant Reformation swept across Central Europe, challenging not just the Church, but the authority of the dynasties themselves. For many, converting to Protestantism was a declaration of political independence. The Catholic Habsburgs responded with both diplomacy and force, leading to the devastating 30 Years' War. The conflict reshaped the balance of power and taught rulers a painful lesson about the high cost of enforcing religious unity. By the 18th century, the world was changing. The Enlightenment brought new ideas about government, and rulers like Maria Theresa and her son Joseph II tried to modernize their realms. They streamlined their bureaucracies, reformed taxes, and promoted education. They weren't trying to give up power. They were trying to make their states stronger and more efficient to survive in a competitive Europe. But these reforms often clashed with ancient traditions and local identities, revealing a growing gap between the rulers and the ruled. This gap became a chasm in the 19th century with the rise of nationalism. Loyalty was no longer primarily to a family, but to a shared culture, language, and history. Nowhere was this felt more strongly than in the Habsburg Empire. Czechs, Hungarians, Poles, Croats, and others began demanding recognition and autonomy, plunging the monarchy into a state of constant crisis. Compromises like the Austro-Hungarian dual monarchy in 1867 offered a temporary fix, but they also cemented the very divisions that would eventually tear the empire apart. Other dynasties adapted differently. In Prussia, the Hohenzollerns transformed their state into a highly militarized power that eventually unified Germany. They showed that dynastic rule could still succeed if it aligned itself with national identity. But this model was risky, tying the fate of the monarchy to military victory and national ambition, a combination that would have catastrophic consequences in the 20th century. The final collapse of Central Europe's royal dynasties came with the catastrophe of World War I. The war shattered the old empires and delegitimized the monarchies that had led their people into the disaster. In the aftermath, centuries-old dynasties were swept away almost overnight, replaced by republics and new nation-states. And yet, their legacy didn't just vanish. The borders they drew, the cities they built, and the cultural institutions they supported continue to define Central Europe today. Even in exile, these families remain a part of public memory, their stories living on in the palaces, churches, and monuments they left behind. Looking back, the story of these dynasties is about more than just power and privilege. It's a story of adaptation in a uniquely complex world where negotiation was as important as domination. Some historians argue these families provided stability over long periods. Others point out that their failure to embrace modern nationalism was their ultimate undoing. This debate continues today because the question of how to govern diverse societies is as relevant as ever. As we trace this history, we're not just reciting names and dates. We're exploring how power was imagined, justified, and challenged for 1,000 years. The past is not a distant country. It's the foundation on which our present was built. Through these stories of ambition, faith, and failure, we can better understand how Europe became what it is today and why the echoes of these royal families still linger in the heart of the continent. If there's one lesson here, it's that power based on inheritance is always fragile. But the cultural marks left by those who ruled can endure far longer than any throne. By understanding their story, we come closer to understanding our own. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more journeys into history.